Hey, everybody out there in TV land. We're here for a new episode of RLG Cast Reviews. I'm here with JD, the Donut Man, and today we're talking about Creature Commandos, the James Gunn DC animated show that's out now.
Hmm.
JD,
Creature.
we'll do no spoilers and then we'll talk about spoilers later. We'll let you know when it's going to
Yeah.
happen. Tell them what it's about.
It's basically a group of misfits and some mythical creatures joining a task force for Amanda Waller, Suicide Squad, essentially, animated form.
Kind of, sort of,
Yeah,
kind of, sort
animated,
of.
and they go on missions.
Um, well, generally, how did you feel about this show?
I kind of was okay with it. I was fine with it. It was kind of silly at some points, but then again, I couldn't really tell who it was catered to. Is it catered to adults or is it catered to kids? Because it kind of straddled both lines.
It's definitely not for kids.
No, but at some points you would think it were because of the way the humor was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's pretty a pretty good point.
Yeah,
It's it's well animated and the art
yeah,
style is good. It's very much like Harley Quinn, and you're
yeah,
gonna hear me say that a lot because my biggest issue with this show is it doesn't do that much to differentiate itself from Harley Quinn. Like
yeah,
it just feels like this we're getting this a very similar type of show that's all
yeah,
like toilet humor and like I actually really like Harley Quinn, but
yeah. I think more than toilet humor, there's a lot of sexual humor in this.
and it's weird because it just doesn't flow well. Like I didn't.
Can I say that? Like, I don't know. Will you get demonetized for
I know
that?
I'm pretty sure you could say that. I think
Okay.
that it's the comedy isn't very good. I think the best parts of this show are like the dramatic moments that it has.
Like there was one episode with Weasel. That was like, wow.
There's they all of their backstory episodes are
Hmm.
better than the actual story that's
Story.
happening.
Yeah.
But the issue I had is the backstory episodes were also like every they happen intertwined. So it's not just
Yeah.
like it's individual backstories per episode, but it's like
Yeah.
not just the backstory in that episode. It's also what's happening now.
In the main story.
But
Yeah.
I found those backstories to be boring, even though they were much better put together as
Yeah.
like a story than the main storyline. They just felt like you're removing me from the action that's happening
Yeah.
to go like slow. And it's a very James Gunn thing to do where in the middle of the movie you'll just stop and explain to me what Harley Quinn's backstory.
Yeah.
But I
Like
found that
Rocket
kind of
Raccoon in Guardians 3.
yes, exactly. But that worked a lot better.
Yeah.
The dramatic moments it hinges on those because those are what really carries the show. The
Yeah.
the comedy's kind of just like Rick and Morty does it better, Harley Quinn does
Yeah.
it better, American
Can
Dad
I
does it
say
better.
I didn't like Frankenstein?
Frankenstein is by far not even close to worst character in the show. I wonder how Putty feels about that.
Yeah.
We do have Putty's score, which we'll give you guys.
Well, yeah.
Um,
I did not as and David Harbour is good, but I don't know. I just didn't feel
okay,
Frankenstein's
not only did
character.
I not feel the character, but I think the voice for him didn't match. It should be a
No.
much deeper, like scarier sounding voice than like he sounds like a businessman. And
Yeah.
like he shouldn't sound like that in my like the way I read the comics with Frankenstein, it doesn't come off like that in my head.
Frankenstein needs more of a low, lumbering, slow speech.
Yeah.
Like he did at some points, he's like, she was my bride.
But then
Like,
as the show progresses, it becomes more of like he becomes a goofball.
hey, I'm a buddy buddy.
Yeah. And like we'll talk about like
Yeah.
no spoilers yet. We'll get into it.
No.
But he does something at one point that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, for the character or for the story.
Um I
Great
Rick Fla
cast though.
yeah, the cast is great. They're like they're mostly based on how they want them to be in the
Yeah.
real world. And they're the voice actors they pick to play everyone will be
And live action because this
their counterpart.
technically because there's a lot of characters from this takes place like this is supposed to take place right at the Suicide Squad and then there's Peacemaker and this takes place right after Peacemaker.
Yeah.
So that's why
S-
Peacemaker I don't think is in this is because he's still in the hospital recovering.
I yeah, I don't think you need him.
No.
It's
you have Viola Davis returning as
And I
Amanda
think she
Waller.
was really good.
Yeah.
As I think the guy is, I don't know his name.
The guy who plays what the Steve Agee's the actor
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as John Economos. He's part
His
of
wife
Argus.
is not in this.
No, surprisingly. I'm surprised they didn't cast his wife as the princess.
I'm Maria Bakalova does a really good
Yes,
job.
Bacala.
Yeah, Bacala. There you go. That's not what I said. Pay attention. Um,
No, yeah, she was in she was what the second she's from the second Borat, I think.
yeah,
Wasn't yeah.
from a few things. She did a really good job.
Yeah.
But that storyline, once again, I don't understand
Yeah.
where the storyline is supposed to go. And then when we get there,
Or the story with the story with Cersei.
yeah, so we'll talk about that in spoilers. Okay. So we won't
Yeah.
get there yet. I found a lot of the dialogue to be poorly written. I found, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like, there's nothing anyone is going to do to convince me otherwise. The music in this
No.
show is horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Horrible. Every single musical choice, the score that they use, the the actual soundtrack is
Mm-hmm.
just terrible. It's not funny. Like,
No.
haha, you could play slightly like Eastern European
Yeah.
music, but it's
The group Gogol Bordello.
it's like
They're a punk band from California. They're not even Eastern
I know that's what I'm
European.
saying, and it plays like all the music is like comedy music. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like someone they're making a comedy album with funny songs, and you
Yeah, it's
use that
like
as to score your
which is so weird because with Guardians, James Gunn did such a great job catering the music to the film. Like in Guardians 3, when the at the beginning of the movie, when the team is falling apart and they're playing that acoustic version of Creep by Radiohead, it just fits in so well.
and
And
he
this
usually
didn't
makes
fit.
really good choices.
Yeah.
Here I was just like, I don't understand what you were going for. Are you trying
Yeah,
to make
but
a
and the thing
goofball
is that
comedy
group is he
or
friends with Gogol Bordello
probably?
because this band you hear them like at least 17 times throughout the course of the series.
It eventually at the halfway point of the show, I would say it just becomes the only song that plays, that one song. It's
Yeah,
just the same song every time music plays.
yeah. He gave up,
And
I guess. I don't know.
whatever. It's the point is that like I couldn't tell, are you trying to make a goofball comedy or are you trying to tell a serious story?
Yeah,
Because you're somewhere in between there the whole time. I think there's really strong elements throughout this show
yeah. It
of
has
what you would
potential.
consider a well-made,
Hmm.
well-crafted TV show. But then it undercuts itself by making poor choices.
Yeah, the comedic timing in this show did not work.
Not at all. Like I said,
Y-
I named you three other shows that if you're trying to watch
Yeah,
adult type comedy, do it so much better. And that's only three shows I could
yeah,
keep going forever. So
yeah.
it's just, it's not a bad show.
No,
It
it's
just
not.
didn't, it don't understand.
It didn't mesh for me,
I seen somebody give it a 9.5 out of 10 today.
and it
Someone
wasn't
that I
Putty.
know. And I was like, no, Putty didn't even give it that good of a score.
No.
Putty's score doesn't make sense from the way that we talked about the show last week.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna put that out there, Putty. So I hope you hear this and
yeah.
you explain it to us. Um, but yeah, let's score this show and then we'll talk about spoilers.
6-6 for me.
I give it a 7, like a 7, a 7-1, something like that. Putty gave it a
Okay.
7-2. I think it's a well-made show. Like I
Yeah,
said,
I think it had potential to be a Peacemaker, Suicide Squad type of show, but
yeah,
something about it just didn't
the
feel right
characters
with.
don't connect with you.
Yeah,
Like
even though they are wonderfully acted.
they
Like the
are.
kid,
It's the
like
writing of the
it's the
characters.
writing of the characters. Like Grello as what is it Grello? What's his name?
Frank.
Frank, yeah.
What?
Rick
No, not
Flag.
Frank. What's his name? Rick Flag Senior.
Yeah. Yeah, Frank Grillo.
Yeah, it's Frank Grillo. But I was thinking of the Nick character name and I kept saying Frank.
Yeah. Like he was great in this show.
They're all
Indira
good.
Varma was fantastic as the bride. Like
Yeah,
it
Alan Tudyk is really good too.
Mhm.
It's two dicks are
Zo
better than three. That's what they always say.
exactly. And Zoe Chow is great. Like I said, the only one I had the issue with was David Harbour. I don't like the way he played Frankenstein.
it just doesn't work with Frankenstein. He didn't even do a bad job. It just doesn't fit the character the way that
Yeah,
he did the voice acting.
yeah.
Um,
Like Peter Serafinowicz in that little bit he's in as Victor
is
Frankenstein is great.
excellent.
Yeah,
It's
but
like I said, right? Let's just it's
and of course my girl's in it too, Linda Cardellini.
yeah, Linda Cardellini's good.
Yeah, as
Everybody is good.
yeah,
It's the characters, the way they're written, they don't connect with you. I never if you want me to rate this like out from a personal aspect and I throw my critic aside, I give this a 5 out of 10 and I don't recommend
yeah,
watching it. For my personal DC like
fandom.
fandom slash my taste in TV shows, I
Yeah,
would never watch this again. But like from a critic standpoint, I can see what they did well here, and
yeah.
I'm not going to pretend because I don't like something that
See,
it's
where
you,
I'm doing it from a DC fan.
right? I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, because I personally don't like it, you shouldn't, But like,
No, I go out at least give it a chance. You might
you
like
didn't
it
even
more
give
than
it
we.
that bad of a score. It's still a favorable score. You would still be
Yeah,
fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with
yeah.
that score, which is the how they get you with Rotten Tomatoes. It's like, well, I gave it a 6 out of 10. They're like, well, 5 point. If you give it all 5.9s, they'll still count it as
As
fresh.
a fresh, yeah,
Um,
not certified, but fresh.
yeah. So it's like I think certified has to be above 70,
75, I think. Yeah,
and then there's another thing above that.
yeah.
There's a new thing that they have now
Oh,
that's
really?
above that. Yeah.
I thought certified fresh was the top.
No, certified fresh is like above 70 or above 75. And then there's something where it's if like it's above 90% or something.
Hmm, okay, but
Anyways, that doesn't matter.
beside the off the rails here,
But it's I
it has
just
potential. I could see where they want to go. I just don't think it was
okay,
executed right.
you did Guardians.
Hmm.
You did
Suicide
Suicide
Squad,
Squad.
which was good.
Okay, you did
This,
Peacemaker. So now you have three completely different IPs of weirdo characters.
hmm
Okay, you're planning on making Booster Gold and like all this shit. You didn't need Creature Commandos. Explain to me in what world we needed Creature Commandos.
because he's probably going to do another Suicide Squad movie.
That's fine, but do it with Suicide Squad people. Don't
Yeah,
give me I don't need for Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. That's what we're reaching for. Like
yeah.
Weasel, we needed more Weasel.
Like I said, you do feel sympathy for Weasel in
Yes,
this
but
in that episode. You understand, like
you
he's not really a
sold
criminal.
Weasel to us in Suicide Squad as a child killer. And
Yeah,
now all of a sudden that's not what he is.
no, he saved them.
But it's like
Spoilers.
at what but we're already in spoilers.
Yeah,
At what point were you gonna be like what you didn't
yeah,
try you didn't even give us the element that that was a possibility before. So to go
yeah,
there now feels like it counteracts what you were trying to get across with him.
yeah. I
So he's
think they
not
saw
crazy. So why is he on the team? He doesn't do anything.
no, but I think they saw like the marketability of the character maybe, and they want to make him more like an anti-hero.
I don't know. It's Weasel. Nobody gives a shit about
Yeah.
Weasel. You killed off like your best character in the show.
Yes, absolutely, you did.
And I don't think James Gunn's willingness to kill people off is a benefit if you're
Nina
using it
Mazursky.
like you're using it in a way where it's not shock value to me. It just felt like you wasted a character.
Yeah,
I wasn't like, oh crap, look what happened. I was like, oh no, you're an idiot. That's like how I
yeah.
felt watching that. Okay.
Okay, and for me also, I don't understand this whole Cersei storyline. Was it all like that confused me too?
You and also just hold on, we'll go to Cersei. Fish Girl. Why
Hmm.
did you develop her
You
in
know,
the episode where you killed her? If you
yeah.
wanted us to feel real sympathy for her, you should have developed her first of all the characters. So watching her grow her friendship with
With GI
Frankenstein's bride
Robot
and
and
GI
GI Robot.
Robot made it feel like, oh, now I really like this character. Now she's dead. You gave
Friend
us a
Nina.
backstory right
Yeah.
before you killed her.
Friend Nina, GI Robot looks forward to hunting Nazis with you.
He was amazing. Um, but yeah, so the Cersei storyline, I don't understand where they were trying to go with that because even when they
Yeah.
explain it to you, it doesn't make sense why she has anything to do with it.
Yeah. So I guess long story short, in the end, what's the princess there? Balakova's character, Princess Rostovich. She wants to bring her country to the modern era, I guess, and she does it by trying to create a war with like I don't understand. Like, this is what I don't understand. Like,
You're worried about world-ending situations coming from a tiny backwoods
yeah,
fucking country,
Eastern European country.
like
Yeah,
tiny,
like,
tiny, tiny, that's never had any power, but all of a sudden they're going to be the ones that destroy the whole world.
yeah.
Like someone make that make sense. Like Superman
And
isn't just coming and killing everybody.
and then she puts this whole plan into motion, and at the end, she just gets blown away. Like, she just
Which I was
gets,
okay with that. I thought that was a
yeah,
cool scene. But
yeah,
when they're trying to explain it to you,
yeah,
it's so convoluted because you spent this whole show going one way. Then when you give us the twist and the twist works, you're like, I
yeah,
have all the reason to do this.
yeah,
You should have made it so Cersei was the bad guy the whole time. And then
yeah,
because then you have a second twist where it's like, no, she's the bad guy. And your best friend Clayface was the guy who did it. Like, why is
yeah.
she friends with Clayface?
Clayface. Yeah. I mean, and you killed off Clayface.
Already, how do I get a Clayface thing? Clayface was in it for 10 seconds and you killed him off?
Yeah, like
Do you
we
understand? Like, there's
yeah,
so much well planned out, thought out things that they just undercut, and you're
yeah.
like, okay,
Now, do you think the Batman shadow in the is just like what do you think it was
it's
just
Batman.
like no, but I mean, I know it's Batman, but do you think it's going to lead to Dr. Phosphorus as Brave and the Bold?
No, I think that he's just a one of the rogues gallery
Okay.
because they looked into it. I think it might have been New Rockstars, and they did a timeline thing and found out that moment when they saw that Batman would have been 10 years before the events
Suicide Squad.
of whatever this show is, Creature
Creature Commandos.
Commandos. So
Okay.
that's like so Batman will already be like in his 10th year by now.
Okay.
So in when they do, they're
He's
saying
well
when Brave and the Bold happens, Batman will be like in his early to mid 30s already,
okay.
not like a
So
20
it's what
something.
it's going to be Damian Wayne Robin. Well, that's
Apparently,
usually
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Brave and the Bold, right? Um, I mean, it's I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'm beating on the show more than it deserves, but it's like I
Yeah.
just expected a lot from it. It's not bad.
No,
It's not like a terrible start to the DC universe or anything because
the
like
true litmus test will be Superman this
yes,
summer.
right? The way that we're seeing the the seesaw flip back and forth in
Hmm.
Marvel is already so scary that like basically anything DC does now, as long as it's not poo, is gonna be good.
Yeah, because apparently Brave New World is
Really bad. I'm
yeah,
hearing that it's very, very bad.
and apparently the Hulk is only in it for the last 5 minutes of the movie.
They're on like round 3 of reshoots
Yeah,
by the end of filming.
and it's what $300 million.
It
They're never gonna make this
they
money
did test
back.
screenings for it 2 or 3 times, and it failed the test screenings every time,
Yeah, they've done what? They've filmed four different endings for it.
something like that. So
Honestly think the Red Hulk originally was not supposed to be in this movie.
it
They were
wasn't
just gonna,
supposed to be.
and they did it as a panic move, kind of like TNA booking.
I don't know.
If you're into
So
wrestling, go check us out.
yeah, go check him out. JD 777 Johnny Donuts. Um,
And on Spotify.
it'll be in the description. The I don't know. It just like as we said, that
Yeah.
ending was just like we didn't
It
need to
felt
get a
rushed.
Sherlock Holmes who done it ending
No.
and 7 episodes. Why didn't you just make an 8th episode so it wasn't so rushed?
Yeah, like that's another thing too. 7 episodes is just weird. Why
Yeah.
seven?
And it was like, I'm
Six?
telling you, it got to the point where I was just like listening to that song over and over and
Oh,
over.
the
I
intro song?
wanted to smash just the same song plays for the whole show.
Yeah. The main theme, yeah.
I wanted to just throw my computer out the window. I was like, I
Yeah.
signed up for Stack TV to watch this shit.
You didn't have to, as long as you have Prime.
No, it wasn't on Prime. I
It was. I
tried.
watched it on Prime.
I think you just don't know that you're paying for Stack TV.
Maybe I signed up for Stacked and I don't know.
Yeah, because it's on
Maybe.
Cartoon Network in Canada.
Okay.
In the States, it's on HBO Max. But for us, our HBO Max is on Crave, and Crave doesn't have
Creature Commandos.
Creature Commandos.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird the way our streaming system works.
Anyways, it was
Fine.
fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
I mean, I think there's potential.
Yeah. Go watch it. Like, I mean, if you're a fan of DC
No,
and
me telling you personally, don't even watch this show.
no,
Just skip it. But
okay.
if me telling you as a critic, I guess you could check it out. You
Yeah,
might like it.
if
There might be
you might
something.
like it, if you're into the weird, if you enjoyed Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, give it at least a chance.
You
But it's nowhere
if
near as good.
Peacemaker and Suicide Squad are absolutely your jam, then you
Then
will
you,
like
yeah,
this. If you're a huge Harley Quinn fan, you might not like this as much because it's
yeah,
so similar in tone and the
humor,
comedy and
yeah,
the visual that it almost would
even the
feel
art
like you're just
style, yeah,
yeah, it would almost feel like you're just watching the same thing. So you might like it, you might not like it. I think there's a weird back and forth. But if you
yeah,
definitely like Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, you'll love this. We all know that I enjoyed Suicide Squad and I
yeah.
wasn't the biggest Peacemaker fan. It was good. It was nothing crazy. That's
It
a
was
putty.
serviceable.
It has that stupid song by Three Leg Cinderella or whatever the hell they're called.
Was it Rat?
What's this? What's the main theme song called that from
Do
Peacemaker?
you want to taste it?
Yeah, who sings that?
I think that's Rat.
Is it?
It's an 80s metal band.
Yeah, they're called like Purple Cinderella or something.
Timmy's on it. Wigwam.
Yeah, there you go. It's even worse.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So do what you like, and thank you for watching.